Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back, everyone. I wanted to start off today's video with Dixie just to quickly give you guys a heads up as to what's going on this week or what to expect. Today's probably a low volume environment because a lot of traders are probably gone for the holiday weekend. And then Monday, we can expect maybe like a muted open because people are trickling back in. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll see like market come back to its normal volume. So just be aware that this weekend we can range with wicks in one way or the other on like Bitcoin, ETH, or whatever altcoin or whatever you're trading. And then we can come right back to the middle until Monday or Tuesday. And then we can see a real move play out. So just keep that in mind so you're not too heavily leveraged in a position over the weekend. Now, looking at Dixie, you can see how we've been waiting for this test of 104.50 for a very, very long time. We got that test. The weekly put on its low and pivoted. You have almost a bullish engulfing weekly. It's right at the midline close. So it's like I can't give you like a much more confident yes, we're gonna go continue up next week or not. But no matter what, this is healthy and good. We had a little bit of sell-off under this bearish order block, as you can see. But next week, when we open CME, we can consolidate in this entire range. As long as we don't lose this 104.50, we've officially basically tested support, and now we need to confirm it by breaking out the top above 10. Or where's my alert here? 106, 107. Yeah, 107.50. Let's just say 107.50, and we need to actually claim 108. Once we claim this 108, I'll be gunning for that 112 and higher. So obviously, the point I'm trying to make at is uh, cryptos had a nice run, and stock equities had a nice run for I think 9 days. It was like the largest run since 2004, and Dixie basically bottomed out this week. Last week we Dixie was dumping and everything was waiting to pump. This week Dixie bottomed out and is actually rising, and we are getting upside in Bitcoin, ETH, ETF news bullshit, whatever. So we've been delayed in our inverse relationship in Dixie for like the last week or two, and that's what I've noticed. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that. So this is why I'm pointing this out to you guys. So this week, if Dixie pivoted up and next week we have continuation, you should start seeing Bitcoin, ETH, your shit coins all top out and round out and look for lower. And this is why I told all my friends yet last week, hey, cash out Tesla, cash out whatever equity you have. Like one of my doctor friends has BITO, BITO. Another one of my friends has a shitload of Coinbase shares. So I was like, hey, you're hitting the targets that we were looking for. It's time to cash out. If we get a pullback onto support and it confirms it, you could rebuy it. There's no point in risking it right now for higher because people are FOMOing and in and getting in on the top because of news trying to hype up retail. This is the time where you want to distribute. BlackRock is not buying after that news. They bought, they're waiting for the news, or they themselves release the news, and now you'll see distribution from them already have accumulated onto retail, buying at the top. So the point of the matter is, I'm done with Dixie. I'm looking for upside continuation, and then I'm looking for that rounding top on Bitcoin ETH. If this chart was inverted, you would see this rounding action happening on Bitcoin, ETH, and shitcoins looking for downside next week and so on. If we get this pivot up, if we don't get above this 106 level and we continue to look drip down and test into the monthly low and weekly low and stay above 104 for the whole next week, well, we can go a little bit higher, Bitcoin, ETH, whatever, and then we could grind this out and then look for continuation. No matter what, I'm looking for a triangle consolidation here. Let me draw it out, and you can try to like poke the low out of it and it's fine, but this to me is a bull flag consolidation that I'm looking for, and it's only bearish if it breaks the bottom. And you have to close the candle body outside of the bottom. I don't give a shit about wicks. Wicks are there just to take that liquidity. This right here is a possible pivot, and I'm going to save that there for all the videos moving forward, just like everything else. So if you go back to all my videos, you'll see this all this shit here on Dixie. Okay, we're done with this. Now I'm going to turn off all my drawings because the rest of that stuff is for members. Dixie is for everybody. Now I'm going to go to Bitcoin, and then I'm going to show you my thoughts on Bitcoin, which should be the opposite of Dixie if this inverse relationship holds true. And then I'll show you my ETH, and then I will be bouncing. Here's Bitcoin. And if you look at yesterday's video, you'll see all the fibs on that Bitcoin short that I was showing as an area for you to poke into to take the liquidity out of and then basically reverse the market so you can retest support. Because this was a fast move up. I mean, it makes sense to just give a little bit back. But as of right now, this weekly, you're closing above all highs locally, meaning you're above your weekly high, you're above your monthly high. Closing like this is good and bullish for continuation. You have officially confirmed this little wick over here as an order block, a bullish order block. So you have this level here to come retrace to and then W out and come tap into that 42,000 that I was my original target. So that's the next step to see how this weekly closes. You have about 1 day and 12 hours. So Sunday at 8, this weekly will close. You have a little bit of bearish divergence on this weekly. And you can see this high to this high relationship. That bearish divergence is bullshit. Like, I wouldn't even count this as confirmed until the weekly closes. And even when that weekly closes, I still don't know why it's saying it's a bearish divergence. That is not, in my opinion, so this is how having a little bit of intelligence is important, where you can weed out fake signals. It's possible if if this weekly close doesn't close outside that Bollinger Band, this will set, and next week you get a straight flush down. And doesn't that make sense because of what we just said about Dixie? Like exactly what Dixie it was telling us, this indicator is warning us, hey, Dixie is setting up for that reversal. So things make sense, but until this weekly closes on 1 day and 12 hours, it can go all the way up to 42. So until this weekly closes, I don't want to say, hey, go nuclear here. Now, say this weekly closes underneath this monthly, which is around 36.7. I think I told everyone 35.5. 35.5 is my magic number. If any 4-hour opening closes go under 35.5, I will be much more confident in shorting into that 32K support level. Okay, and you can draw a little triangle here like I did with Dixie. I don't care what it does in this consolidation. Let it chop, 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 chop. People don't understand that's consolidation is bullish. Only fools who are over leveraged and have no idea what they're doing shit their pants and get pushed out. Until 32K is broken, we are in an uptrend. There is no break of structure. There's nothing you need to cry about to mommy. Until 32K is broken, we are in an uptrend. Now, that doesn't mean we don't go under and come back above and shake out a lot of motherfucking people. What I'm just trying to tell you is, as market structure is trying to tell me, in this, remove these indicators and stuff. Okay, if you remove all the indicators and stuff, oh man. Oops, I accidentally drew on the chart, so that's why everything showed up. Well, the cat's out the bag. Here's the fib that I was looking for the first short, the 35.5. And then 41 to 42K is where I'm looking at the top of my channel for the next rejection. You guys just saw all of that. That is a freebie for now. My mistake, members. Don't worry, I won't do that mistake again on ETH. Did the same shit yesterday too. Okay. Okay, cool. So that's basically what I wanted to get at. I'm looking for a pullback. I have specific levels that I'm looking for on that pullback. Here are these official candle levels that anyone can get, and then you saw my fib retrace a second ago. So we're done with this. Let's go to ETH. I'm trying to make this less than 10 minutes. My computer already looks like it's about to blow up. Here's ETH. If you looked at yesterday's video, ETH was at around 2,000, and I was saying, hey, ETH is gonna eventually catch up, or was it 1,900? I don't know. It whatever it was at yesterday, I was saying that ETH is lagging Bitcoin, and depending if Bitcoin shits the bed or is continuing, ETH will play catch up. Bitcoin just stood still, so I guess people just took this trade knowing that that gap was still there, so it filled. So you got a little bit of poke above this high. You can see that I'm looking for this level over here. That's the middle of that top to this pivot low. This is the middle. So if you draw your fibs, here's your pivot high, here's your pivot low. Use that as your fibs. That's what BlackRock is doing. Retail use other fibs because we're scalping. But BlackRock is looking at this high, and BlackRock and GBTC and goddamn everyone else is looking at this low, and they're doing their math off that shit. Okay. So right now you can see this is a potential channel, and the potential channel's high would be like around here, which is around this low, 2400-ish. And if that occurs, great. But in my opinion, it looks like a bear flag setup. And if we know that Dixie is going to rise and Bitcoin looked like it was putting in a bearish divergence, and you're poking at the overbought situation here, so next week's close can put in that cross of bearish divergence, you can look for us to come back and test into support. And support, I would say, is around, well, I mean, technically we're kind of near it. I guess that wick rejection 2000-ish, 2030. But the weekly high, and ETH is a little bit weirder than Bitcoin, so it's going to be a little bit tougher to find a low. But ETH is probably going to have a weaker, ETH is going to have a more bullish setup. It's going to have a higher low than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has a little bit more volatility to ETH because Bitcoin doesn't have a staking network. And since ETH stakers are so confident in the bull run coming and all that, and I agree with everyone, and that's been my philosophy with ETH over Bitcoin for a while now, ETH is going to make these higher lows, and it's going to basically be much more bullish setup. And even if you look for a retrace, it's probably going to come shallow, and maybe it won't go under 2000. And I mean, if it comes to my level of 1930, that's a gift, because you might not get any lower, because now all the stakers are horny to basically, and anyone who missed the ETH run, they can see this. This is very clear structure. And if the channel breaks one-to-one extension from here, you guys, members, you guys have seen my chart. You guys know exactly what I'm looking for. You know where I'm looking for my short. Be aware, this is just the midline. This is reversion to the mean. Okay, this should be like fair. 2850, that's fair for ETH to get to eventually. Anything above that where you're looking for your short is where you got to do your math. But I mean, if you're just blindly looking, and say we said this, the next swing failure pattern would be this little wick right here, right? What is that? 3,500, 3,600. You're at right now 2,000. So that's about like a 50% increase in spot gains alone, until people decide on an institutional level, hey, let's consider a short. So just take that food for thought. And it's going to be all the way over here, like 4,000. If you look left, here's the last rejection, here's the last rejection. Why would you short outside of those levels other than right here? And look where we're at right now. If you're not shorting right here, then you're not going to short until like here or here or here. If you didn't get into a long, you're not going to get into